Hey everybody, it's Ben, and this is my edition of the pull list tag video, which is currently going around the YouTube comic community at the moment. Basically, this was started by Greg or MattOnComics, where you answer 5 questions pertaining to your pull list, and you then tag a few extra people towards the end to do their own edition of the pull list tag video. So as I said, there's 5 questions, and without further ado, let's get into the questions and the answers. First up, what is your current monthly pull list? Now, my pull list currently consists of 4 books, and they're all from Marvel. First up, we have Rick Remender's Uncanny Avengers, which has been absolutely fantastic since the very beginning, and this current story arc of Ragnarok now has been absolutely fantastic, and particularly this issue, which is the most recent issue, which is issue 16, with a really great cover by Stephen Niven of Thor going up against Uriel of the Apocalypse Twins. This was a really fantastic issue, as I said. Fantastically written by Rick Remender, illustrated by Stephen Niven, and inked by John Dell and Jay Leaston, and coloured by Laura Martin. Really great character-defining moments for both Steve Rogers or Captain America and Thor in this. Particularly the opening sequence, which has Thor smashing into the Apocalypse Twins ship and giving them an awesome ultimatum, as well as a great shot of Thor wielding both his hammer Mjolnir and Captain America's shield. So, Uncanny Avengers, absolutely fantastic. Next up is Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness's Amazing X-Men. This is just a really fun, absolutely fantastic X-Men book, and it's very new reader friendly. So if you're new to the X-Men and you never picked up any X-Men before this, you could easily pick up this first issue and completely understand what's going on, and just have a whole lot of fun and just barrels of enjoyment out of this series. This first story arc is the Quest for Nightcrawler, which consists of 5 parts, which follows the X-Men as they're battling demon pirates in both heaven and hell, and also sees the return of Kurt Wagner, or Nightcrawler, who is incredibly cool and just an incredibly awesome character and a great swashbuckling hero, particularly in this storyline, as he goes up against not only demon pirates but also his father, the demon Azazel, as well. Unfortunately, you can't see the wraparound cover because I've got it in the bag and board, but if you go to my review on my channel of Amazing X-Men, you'll see the thumbnail, which is basically what the wraparound cover for this series looks like. As I said, Jason Aaron's writing is fantastic, along with Ed McGuinness's equally fantastic artwork, which just jumps off the page, largely thanks to Marte Gracia's equally fantastic colouring. There's really great character-defining moments for the characters in this storyline, in this series. Particularly, not only Nightcrawler or Kurt, but also for Bobby Drake or Iceman, Aurora Monroe or Storm, and Hank McCoy or Beast. Beast's moment is in issue 3, as well as Iceman's as well, which showcases Beast on the front cover with the caption "The Beast Unleashed." So yeah, Amazing X-Men, absolutely fantastic. Staying with the X-Men, we have Peter David and Carmine Digiamenko's All New XFactor. This is the newest edition of the XFactor series, which is coming off of the recently ended 3rd volume of the series, which was Jamie Madrox and the rest of his team, which was also written by Peter David as well, which ended with 262. Or issue 262, I should say, back in, I believe, September of last year. Was it last year? Yeah, anyway. The team currently consists of Quicksilver, or Pietro Maximoff, and Polaris, Laura Dane, and Gambit, or Remy LeBeau. Really great to see Gambit brought to the forefront of a team book, particularly as his own series ended after 17 issues, again last year. Written by James Asmus due to cancellation due to poor sales. So for myself, as a huge Gambit fan, it's really great to see Gambit brought to the forefront of a team book, as I said once again. This is a really great first opening story arc of 2 issues, which basically issue 1 brings the team together and then sends them out straight away on their first mission, which the team is actually the first ever corporate sponsored superhero team by several industries. And follows our All New X-Factor team as they basically break into an AIM stronghold to free some captive mutants which are being experimented upon by an evil doctor and some evil AIM scientists. Really great two-part story arc, like I said. Usually for team books, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but usually it takes six issues for the team to come together and then for the story to begin. But Peter David quickly sidesteps this usual formula, and as I said, introduces us with a great two-part story arc, bringing the first half of the three members of the team together and then sending them out on their first mission. Again, absolutely fantastic series, and I cannot wait to pick up issue 3, which comes out this Wednesday on the 12th of February. And finally, for my pull list books, we have Revolutionary War, the Knights Revolutionary War, which is a 8-part mini-series focusing on the characters of the Marvel UK line, which was around briefly during the 1990s. The Alpha issue was great. I really enjoyed it, which was co-written by Andy Lanning and Alan Cowsill. And this is the most recent issue, which the Death's Head 2 issue 1 or one shot again comes out this Wednesday, which is the 12th of February. This is the Knights of Pendragon issue, which follows the Knights of Pendragon as they go up against zombified versions of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which is always fun. And it also delves into the magical aspect of the Marvel UK characters. Really fun issue. I actually read this on the train home from my local comic shop in my local shopping town last Thursday, and I will put up a review of this fairly soon. So yeah, that's my pull list books, and the final book, as I said, is Revolutionary War. Next up is, what is your strongest book on your pull list and why? Initially, I was going to go with Uncanny Avengers. I just dropped my pull list tag names and I just put it back. Sorry about that. But I was going to go with Uncanny Avengers, but that series has been fantastic from the beginning. So I'm going to go with easily the runner-up, and by no means a lesser book, and that is Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness's Amazing X-Men. Absolutely fantastic series, so much fun, action-packed, great character moments, fantastic artwork and colouring. Really really fun book, new reader friendly. If you've never read an X-Men book before, you can pick this up and really easily understand what's going on. Yeah, this is just a fantastic series and should be on everyone's pull list. If you're a Nightcrawler fan, this is a must pick up, especially as Nightcrawler is going to be getting his own series in April with what many people consider to be the definitive X-Men writer, which is none other than Chris Claremont himself, which will be a new volume of X-Men Legacy. So Amazing X-Men is the strongest book on my pull list. The next question is, what is the weakest book on your pull list and why? This isn't a bad book by any stretch of the imagination. I've really enjoyed it so far. This is more of a personal preference, not so much a personal preference, but a personal sort of small gripe, if you will. The Alpha issue of Revolutionary War, I really enjoyed, as I said. The next issue, which was the Dark Angel one-shot, or the issue 1, I enjoyed it, but it only paid a few panels to the overarching storyline, and was more of a character-driven storyline, focused solely on the character of Dark Angel. Not that that's a bad thing, as I said, this is pretty much my first exposure to a lot of these Marvel UK characters. As I said, some of them I know by reputation and from reading them in this series, as well as other books as well. Case in point, Captain Britain, Pete Wisdom, and Death's Head 2. But as I said, this was my introduction to a lot of the other Marvel UK characters, such as Dark Angel, Colonel Ligger and his team, whose name I'm blanking on right now, and this most recent issue, which is the Knights of Pendragon. The Dark Angel issue was good. It was written by Kieran Gillen, illustrated by Dietrich Smith. But as I said, it didn't advance the overall plot all that much. But then again, the Knights of Pendragon issue, as I said, really fun. Really enjoyed it. By all accounts from the previews which I've seen on CBR or comicbookresources.com, the Death's Head issue, which comes out this Wednesday on the 12th of February, is going to go right back to the cliffhanger of the Alpha issue and start to advance the overall plot once again. Written by Andy Lanning and Andy Lanning and Alan Cowsill. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Death Side issue this Wednesday, and or I'll be picking it up on Thursday. But anyway, then I'm going to reevaluate as to whether or not I'm going to continue with this series. But by all accounts, if I enjoy the Death Side issue, then this series isn't going anywhere. So that's my weakest book, purely from a personal gripe perspective. Next up, what am I considering dropping and why? As I've just said, Revolutionary War. I'm going to give it until the Death Side issue, which is issue 4 of 8, and then decide whether or not I'm going to continue with it. But as I said, if I enjoy it, then it's not going anywhere. The final question is, what am I considering adding and why? If you'll bear with me while I just put these back in some semblance of order. Bear with me. I've just recorded this video, but I wasn't happy with the first take, so I decided to redo it. Hence why I've had to put everything back in some semblance of order. Anyway, first up is a series that I'm not considering adding my pull list. Right. This series I'm not considering adding to my pull list. This series is definitely going on my pull list. And that is A Voice in the Dark by Laramie Taylor. Published through Image Comics, Top Cow Productions and Minotaur Press. This series is absolutely fantastic. Now, it focuses on the main character of Zoe Aarons, who is the perfect honor student. She's going to Blair, which is a college in the US of A. She's going to learn how to become a radio show presenter and host. The only problem is she's killed someone. Now, call it what you want, call it protection, call it revenge, call it defending a best friend turned adopted sister's honor. But Zoe has killed someone, and she's hoping that this move to Blair will keep her murderous instincts under control. Unfortunately, in the first issue alone, you find out that that simply isn't the case. She imagines herself strangling the administrator of the radio show course, if you will, at the college when she initially meets her, because she believes that she's going to laugh at her idea of a call-in or talk show. She imagines killing her roommates half a dozen ways within 48 hours of meeting them. She imagines stabbing one of her fellow classmates with her pen in the forehead because she said something untoward and uncalled for against gay people, which, as I said, her best friend turned adopted sister is outed as a lesbian, and that is her motivation of revenge or protection against the person that she murders. But Laramie Taylor's writing and artwork, toning and lettering is absolutely fantastic, and he does all this with his mouth. From suffering with a condition called arthrogryposis. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's arthrogryposis. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and I hope I'm not offending anyone by mispronouncing it. It's a birth defect which limits the usage of his arms and legs, and he's in a wheelchair as a result of it. And this series is his first published work, and it's absolutely fantastic. This is a series that is very special, and everybody needs to check this out. Everybody needs to read this and put it on their pull list. Take it from me, if you watch my videos on a regular basis and you trust my judgment, please, please, I implore you, please pick up A Voice in the Dark. If nothing else, pick up the first issue and then see if you want to continue with it from there. But A Voice in the Dark, definitely going on my pull list. Next up, another series that I have no qualms about, that's definitely going on my pull list. Recommenders Deadly Class. Absolutely fantastic debut issue. Recommender, as you know if you've watched some of my videos pertaining to him and his works. He's one of my favourite writers from the past few years. From his work on Uncanny X-Force, Uncanny Avengers, Venom, and now this series, Deadly Class. This series is basically a school for teenage assassins set against the backdrop of the 1980s in San Francisco. Now, from all accounts, from interviews with Amanda on various comic websites, this is more of a personal book for him, as he's trying to basically channel some of the real life experiences that he had growing up in America during this time period. Just an absolutely fantastic debut issue, as I said. Wes Craig was an artist I never heard of until reading this issue. Absolutely fantastic artwork, panel layouts and page layouts. As I said, Deadly Class, another one that's going on my poll. Next up we have All New Invaders by James Robertson, Steve Pugh and Gary Effects, Morning Marvel Now. Really enjoyed the first issue of this. It's more of a sci-fi take on the traditional World War II era team of the Invaders, or the All New Invaders. This series focuses on Jim Hammond, or the original Human Torch, as our point of view character, and we have Captain America, or Steve Rogers, and James Bucky Barnes brought in during this issue, bringing the first 3 quarters of the team together, essentially, with Namor, unfortunately at this moment, not being present. Really enjoyed the first issue, as I said. I'm going to give it until at least the first story arc, from interviews that I've read with both Robertson and Steve Pugh, and then decide if I'm going to continue picking it up or not. I don't know if I'm going to put this on my poll, but I'm definitely going to pick up the issues as they come out. But yeah, All New Invaders. Next up is a series that's going on my poll for definite. Velvet by Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting. This is basically a spy or an espionage series which focuses on the Moneypenny, or the female of the James Bond films, which focuses on our main lead character of Velvet. Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting, they run on the Winter Soldier for Ed Brubaker's Captain America run is considered by many to be absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to be picking up the recently released hardcover to tie in with the release of the second Captain America film of the same name, of the Winter Soldier. Excuse the Facebook notifications going off, but yeah, Velvet, absolutely fantastic series, and I'll be reviewing this very soon. Another one for the poll. And finally, for pull list books, Frankenstein Alive. Oh, hang on. Black Science, another series going on my pull list. It's recommender. It's a no-brainer that I'm going to pick this up. I need to get my hands on a second printing of issue 1, and then read the entire series back to back. But as I said, it's a recommender book, so I have no qualms on putting it on my poll. And finally, Frankenstein Alive from IDW by Steve Niles and Bernie Wrightson. Absolutely fantastic series. In April there will be a reanimated edition of issues 1 and 2 released, which will be a combination of both issues released into one single issue. And also issue 3 will be coming out in that same month. Absolutely fantastic series, like I said. Bernie Wrightson's artwork is easily worth the price of admission for picking up this series. And you really come to feel a new level of sympathy for Frankenstein's monster, or Frank as he's called in this, as he's found a home in this community of circus freaks in this circus which he's a part of, but at the same time he's living on the edges of society because he's not going to be accepted by society at large, purely because of the way he looks, because he's freakishly tall, freakishly strong, and you even feel another new level of sympathy for him when he's confronted by his creator, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and he basically calls Frank an abomination, a blight against God. He intended Frank to be human, but he turned out to be much less, at least from Dr. Frankenstein's estimations. But Victor Frankenstein, Frank's creator, just comes across as a complete douchebag in this, particularly at the end of this first issue when we see him confront Frank about, basically he refers to Frank as the bane of his existence. But yeah, absolutely fantastic series, and this series is definitely going on my pull list, especially in preparation for the reanimated edition of issues 1 and 2 and issue 3 coming out in April. And finally, I will now tag the various people that I want to do their own edition of this video. First up, we have James Donnelly. I tag you, good sir. Nerdo McNerdy. I tag you. James Crowder, who's recently started doing videos again, I'm happy to see. I tag you. Adam Day, great guy, always enjoy his haul videos and the various thoughts that he gives on the books that he picks up. Also a big thank you and a shout out to him as well for picking up all new XFactor and all new Invaders on my recommendation. Really happy to see that he's enjoying them so far. Next up, Devin's Comics, I tag you. Civilian Snowman, my good friend, I tag you. And finally, a guy I haven't seen do videos in a while, but I always enjoy his videos. And he also gave me a special shout out for my 22nd birthday last year, and that is Mr. Davidus Racoonus. I tag you, good sir. And I hope all is well with everyone that I've tagged in the UK and the various other sides of the pond in the US of A. So those are the people that I tagged to do their own edition of this video, and I will leave links below to their channels in the description as well. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But I always say thumbs down the video. By all means, please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. And if it's your first time here, by all means, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.